All right. Look who we got. Let me bring up my man CRJ. CRJ, how are you doing, brother?
Hey, what's going on, Lee?
Let me say, listen now. We got his channel right here. We are better together. Shout out your channel. Let us know what you got going on.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was actually cutting some videos and I saw you went live. I said, let me see what Lee's doing over here. Cutting videos. My channel is at We Are Better Together. The channel brought to you to I'm trying to put the value back in relationship. Now, I know you're a 20-year divorce attorney. Divorce is kind of the counter of what we're trying to talk about over here. I'm trying to put everybody back together.
I
Nobody
hear
wants to
you.
be together, man. Everybody's acting like they don't need somebody. It's real hard when you get in your 50s like me if you don't have anybody. I've been
You
married
in your
now, what?
50s? Shout out to you, man.
Hey, man. I know you don't see too much gray, but yeah, 50. But I've
Wow.
been married now, what? It'll be 20 years next year. So
20 years. It's amazing. Yeah, I saw you at the mall the other day. Pimp man rolled up
yeah,
on me.
I was there with the family. I heard what you said. I think it was the 50-year marriage is it's hard to do, man. My parents been married 51 years.
Listen, people misinterpreted that, and I think it's it's about reading specifically, and it's hard to do on YouTube and stuff. But the title of that was "There are no 50-year marriages that are starting in 2023." All right.
We got to shoot for we got what they say, shoot for the moon. And if you don't miss, you hit the stars. Maybe we get a 35, right?
Well, when you hit the stars, you know what I am? I'm a star. And you're gonna hit me, and I'm gonna hit you right back. Right? I'm waiting on you.
I hear you.
These are just different times. In the 1800s, people had expectations about what love and relationship looked like. In the
That's true.
1600s, people had expectations about what love and relationships look like. In
But we don't have to go
2000,
that far back. We just got to go back to like the 50s, right? The 60s.
well, in 2023, you're talking about your parents are still like it's 2023. Yeah, I'm
No.
talking to young men 26 who are about to get engaged, this month. Can they really look at your parent if they're 23, 26 years old? Can they look at your parents' relationship? The conditions that existed to keep your parents together. This is a different time.
I know, but at the end of the day, we still need each other. People are not meant. The worst thing you can do to a human is put them on an island by themselves, right? So at the end of the day, that's the purpose of the channel, is to really talk about the value. When you get into your 40s and 50s and the club days are over and the hanging out is over, man, you just want to go on a Friday night and watch some Netflix with someone, order a pizza and be in. Who are you gonna do that with? And when you start getting your 60s, who's going to take you to those doctor visits?
Oh my God, here we go. Who's gonna wipe your butt? All
Hey,
right,
hey, who's going?
all
Hey, who's going to
right.
do it? You want to be nobody wants to be by themselves, man. You want to be with somebody. And I mean, I listen. I was here for Freaknik. I
Shout
lived
out to
in
Freak Nick,
Hey,
okay?
I was here for Freaknik, the original Freaknik. I was here. I lived in Buckhead for 10 years. I did it all. Tongue and Groove.
Oh, what you know
I
about the
was there.
damn tongue and
Hey,
groove?
I know about all of that. Lulu's Bait Shot. I was there with all of that. 112. But
Mm.
at the end of the day, Uptown Comedy Corner, you got to find somebody that suits with you and rock with them. Create a family, create your little team, and keep it moving. That's what I'm trying to talk about. Because I think at the end of the day, it's no different than a 401k. They tell you early on, put money in it. You don't really think about it. Then when you get to 40s and 50s, you appreciate it if you do it. So you don't really think about it. When you get in your 40s, 50s and you're really not trying to hang out there, it's like, I just want to have me a nice crib, nice somebody that's got my back. Then what?
Totally agree with you, man. Totally agree with you. I don't know about that whole 50-year thing, but everything you said after that, man, about just finding somebody, it's just you and her, or you and him, if you're a girl or whatever. I feel you. Kevin Samuels used to say, "We better together, man."
We are
So
better together. I'm gonna tell you where you want to find a wife at. You know where they at?
tell me, goddamn,
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
New Orleans. I'm from DC, so I'm from Chocolate City, and I
Mhm.
live here in the ATL, so I know about chocolate cities. The difference about New Orleans, the women still respect their dudes. They still don't mind making a plate for a dude.
Really? Okay, so
and they and they
that's like the internal passport bros. Like if you don't want to go way out there,
exactly,
but you're like right there, you just go on and get down there, get one of these Creoles.
the sisters look good. They still show respect. They don't mind making a plate. Women want a traditional man. They don't want to act traditional. So you got to go find a traditional woman. I know the passport bros, they leaving the country. That's all good. Problem with the passport bros, they going out of the country and maybe they getting love from the women, but those women really just like you because of your passport. They want to come back to America. Try to marry one of them and say, hey, baby, we're going to stay here in this country. No. I want to go to America. Then once they get over here, get the Western world mentality. It's still about traditionalism. It's still about showing love to that person and expressing yourself with that person. I mean, that's how I look at it. I mean, at the end of the day, when you laying on that slab, you want to look back and see what you created. You know, nobody wants to die alone. I know Kevin used to say that all the time. You know, that's what's going to happen, but nobody wants that.
Yeah. Human companionship is so important. If y'all know about ADX, that's that damn prison in Colorado. That's that Supermax, and people going crazy up in there because it's just one man to a cell, 23 hours a day, sometimes no TV, or just you go crazy for years. So I get that. Now, is marriage, is it like they say it is with the vows? I don't care what anybody says. Listen, I'll tell you guys a secret. I cover all parts of a family law case. Y'all know I do the divorces. Some of y'all know that I do mediations. What is mediation, right? Before you go to trial and all this, you try to get stuff worked out. Let me tell you what I also do. I don't really talk about this much. I used to talk about it more. People started hitting me up for these services, so I stopped talking about it. I officiate weddings. I married one of my best friends and his wife in their backyard. And I read these vows. Let me tell you something. These vows, I don't even want to read these vows on a Tuesday evening and then go to trial on a Wednesday. These vows are forgotten. I don't want to say they're forgotten, but they're not enforceable. They're promises. They're not contracts to have and to hold, in sickness and in health. Come on. These women will cash you out because I'm not happy.
That I won't disagree with that.
I'm not happy.
I won't disagree with that. I won't disagree
So
with that.
it's like, what is these women that are up here at the altar talking about to have and to hold? They know it's not true. It's Shakespeare. It's a ritual. It's a play.
But what's the alternative?
Well, the alternative is if you're going to get married, listen, you can get married in a safer way. There's no guarantees. You got to get a prenup, guys. I mean, CRJ, your parents probably ain't have no prenup. It was a different time, man. 2023, everybody got crypto and everybody, everybody got these jobs and, working from home. Like people getting it these days. You have to understand what marriage in 2023 looks like, and y'all don't get it, and I'm here to tell you that starting in 2003, good luck finding a woman who's going to stay with you for 50 years. Good luck. In the environment that we have, every single woman will tell you that she's traditional. Now that's those other women. Make her unhappy for 2 years and see what happens. Right? And now you say make her unhappy. That's kind of a joke because you can't really, make someone happy or not. They have to find it within themselves. But these women are filing divorces at a rate of 70%. They're cashing you guys out. I'm telling you guys, these marriages these days, they're not making it 50 years. And my man said, oh, what about my parents? Like that was in like the 40s and the 50s. Right? I'm telling you guys, this is a different time. Right? But listen, everybody got their opinions, and I agree that we are better. Most people are better together. There are a lot of, I don't even want to get into the whole thing about there are a lot of people. There are millions and millions of people who should never be married, ever, for many reasons, men and women. People assume that everyone should be married. It's absolutely not true. There's a very large population of of the country that should never be married based on their personalities. I don't want to even get into genetics. Y'all aren't even ready for that. But in general, for many people, having a stable relationship, monogamous relationship will absolutely benefit their lives, especially if they want children.
There you go. Especially that's a big part of it right there. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but your parents ain't know nothing about, having that 7-year itch and then being able to jump on Instagram and get all these likes and
they did. My mom told me a story. She was 31 and she said, I was ready to divorce your dad. I said,
what did I say? I said getting on Instagram.
Oh no,
that's the
we
thing.
Ain't talking
because that's temptation. The temptation that your mother had is way different than the temptation that these 27-year-old women are having. There was this guy, he was the most stupidest thing I ever heard in my life. This guy was talking about LeBron James. Now let's assume for a second that LeBron James has never cheated. All right, never cheated in his life. And the dude, they were saying that how clean, LeBron James was keeping his reputation. And the dude was like, oh, well, that's nothing. It's nothing for LeBron James not to cheat. He's married. He's not supposed to cheat. I'm married and I haven't cheated, so why are y'all applauding him? I'm like, are you crazy?
No, that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. You cannot compare yourself to LeBron James. The temptations that this man is undergoing, there are millions of women trying to sneak into his hotel every time he's on the road. Millions of women want to give this man some ass. You are nobody, right? You're the opposite. You're trying to get the women that are trying to get LeBron, right? You cannot compare the temptations that your mother had to the temptations that women have now with all this social media, CRJ.
I totally agree with that. I agree with the prenup.
Yeah, these are the insights that if you practice in this long enough, you start seeing insights that other people don't appreciate. Very difficult out here. But your premise, we're better together, 100%.
My answer is always going to be, what's the alternative? You get in those upper ages and you by yourself. That's the alternative, and it is tough. It's tough if both people are working at it. It's not as tough. I mean, that's what's important. I think, like you said before, everything you said is true as far as, women have to be happy within themselves. You're not going to make them happy. I mean,
facts.
When we moved into our house, we had no houses around us. We moved in 2008 when the market was drying up. And so there was nothing around us. And she said, oh, I wish we had houses around us. And then in 2015, they start building. She said, oh, now why all these houses got to move here? It's like,
facts.
Which way you want it, but you have to know that, it's just like, hey, you have to understand how the woman's minds work. They're always going to look for the next thing. They have to be happy within themselves, and understand that. And that's not my role. My role is to provide. My role is to protect. My role is to lead. It's not to make you happy. Now, you do for me, I'm gonna do for you. I'm gonna do the things that a woman is looking for out of a man. Be that leader of the household. Be that guy that, hey, this is going on in the house. Make sure that's taken care of. Hey, what are we gonna do for a vacation? How are we gonna make this work? That's my job as a leader. Her job is to support. I do have a woman that has my back. She understands the hierarchy. She didn't come in saying we equal. She came in saying, you the king, I'm the queen. Mm-hmm. So by that right there, it's my kingdom. And she'll say, I remember some guy was trying to sell us windows and he kept looking at her. And I said, dude, stop looking at her. And she goes, yeah, he's going to make the final decision.
Bam.
So, hey, they like
that's a united front right there.
They like that in New Orleans. You might want to do the next meetup in New Orleans.
New Orleans, man. I went to New Orleans for a legal conference about 5 years ago. I went to this famous restaurant. I don't remember the name. And the person across from me had ordered a bowl of soup. And when they brought it, it just caught my eye because something was sticking out of it. And I looked in the soup. It was this big bowl of soup. And it was like a dark green, like a muddy green, like mud green. And I looked at it. And it was a damn turtle foot sticking up. I was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. The turtle. I was like, where am I at? Jesus Christ. But yeah, shout out to New Orleans. But listen, man, thank you. Oh, I didn't know if you had a question. We were just, we're just talking about, shooting the shit on relationships. Did you have a particular question?
I was just trying to see if I could persuade you a little bit more to come back over to this side. I had heard the comment you said about the 50-year marriage. So not more of a question, more of a comment, but
Yeah,
it's possible.
you when you heard 50-year marriage, just like you said, just like you admitted, you started looking at your relationship and you started looking at your parents' relationship, neither of which started in 2023. Go back and look at the title. In the title, I said starting in 2023. I'm very precise about this stuff. There's a lot of marriages that are still, going around, and they started in the 80s and all this. I will tell you, these great marriages are a thing. These older women, you're like, oh, who's gonna wipe your butt? These older women, like, man, I'll find a toy, I'll find a boy toy, I'll find somebody. I ain't staying with this dude though. I know that. So even the older women, who I remember used to be scared. I remember, guys, if you could get a woman deep into her 40s, like 48, 49, she wasn't gonna divorce you. Because how does she look at 53 trying to date? She wasn't gonna do it. I remember when a woman's biggest fear was being alone. They ain't scared no more. You sound like you scared. So who's gonna wipe my butt? They ain't scared.
I ain't not.
Listen, you know, like, who's gonna wipe? Who's gonna do this? And who's gonna do that?
If I can't wipe my butt, then take me out the pasture and do me in. I don't want to be in that situation.
I feel you. Listen,
hey, like I said, I've been single before. I remember 112. I remember.
That's what these older women, these women 63 years old, talking about. I get a BBL. They don't care.
They say that, then they go home and cry. I'm telling you, they don't want to be by themselves. Hanging up ornaments on a Christmas tree by yourself ain't fun.
Oh, listen, he talking to y'all women. He talking to y'all women.
Spending New Year's Eve and kissing yourself and going, 19 years I've been kissing the same woman, saying Happy New Year, then I crash and go to bed. I mean, this world ain't meant to be by ourselves. Don't let something crazy happen like what happened in Ukraine. Well, I mean, you want to be with somebody. You don't want to be by yourself.
I feel you. Well, listen, I really appreciate you coming up. Everybody put CRJ in the chat, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much
show.
for coming up.
Listening to you. Love what you do, man.
No problem. Thank you for coming up, pimp.
No problem.
Oh, I think I cut him off too quick. All right. If one of the mods could drop my man CRJ's channel in the chat, and y'all go over and follow him. And listen, there's a big part of me that does agree.